𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓲𷓷𝓰's 5-year anniversary happened recently. To celebrate, it was announced Season 3 will now release earlier than planned. A trailer for a new music project dropped, and a message from the creators of 𝓘𝓽𝓽 was posted on the official channel. However, what I'm more interested in is the new PV for Season 3 they snuck in at the end, as well as some word choices that raise a few questions at best. Spoilers for all of 𝓘𝓽𝓽. First, let's talk about the massive 30 seconds of new material from Season 3. We open on 𝓘𝓽𝓮 being woken up by 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮. It looks like he might have passed out, and 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮 comments that he has a fever, just like he did in Brighton. I'm assuming he's referring to episode 4, where 𝓘𝓽𝓮 passes out after meeting Vayne and is sick for about a day after. I think there's two possible causes. The more interesting but less likely is that it's related to his power. Changing fate too much might affect him physically. However, he doesn't exactly change much when he meets Vayne, and he's fine after actually altering fate at other points. Honestly, I think this is most likely just stress-induced. Something along the lines of a panic attack, or he's anxious enough to make himself sick. They're in the same outfits as they were at the end of Season 2 and Brighton arc. Maybe this takes place right after he finds out about xiaofei going missing. That would be very stress-inducing, especially if it didn't happen in the original timeline. As far as he's aware, he's gotten an innocent person killed because he messed with fate. Then 𝓘𝓽𝓮 monologues while we watch a couple scenes from Brighton arc. He comments that the future has become unforeseeable. By the start of Season 3, he's messed with fate so much he just has no idea what's going on anymore. He says one problem has been seemingly solved, most likely referring to Vayne's death. However, we know that is not the case, and Vayne is still very much alive. 𝓘𝓽𝓮 has no idea though, so that's a reveal I'm not looking forward to. He ends by saying there are many problems that still need to be solved. The visual switched to a shot of someone walking down train tracks in a tunnel. We've never seen this specific sequence before, but it reminds me so much of Season 2's opening, Vortex. This opening starts and ends with 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮 falling through a train tunnel. Based on the other trailers for Season 3, we know train tracks are going to be very important going forward. Thematically, they're obviously a metaphor for fate and the different paths it takes. But it also seems like something important happened during the boy's childhood involving these specific train tracks. This is supported by the final scene of the new PV. We see child 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮 running and waving as he says, 𝓘𝓽𝓮, I've been waiting for you for so long. This all seems to tie back in with the promise they made as kids and the fact 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮 has no memory of it. He may be an idiot, but I doubt he'd completely forget 𝓘𝓽𝓮. Either his memory has been altered, or the boys' first meeting as kids happened in a different timeline entirely. If that's the case, Vortex and the train track metaphor make a lot of sense. It's 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 being forced into a different timeline, one where he never met 𝓘𝓽𝓮 before the basketball court. That's all for the PV, but the new music project announcement had some interesting stuff I want to talk about. Specifically, the word each character was associated with and their positioning. Each character is either paired with one of the 7 deadly sins or one of the 7 heavenly virtues. I'm sure you're familiar with the 7 deadly sins: pride, envy, wrath, sloth, greed, gluttony, and lust. But I feel like the 7 heavenly virtues are a little less well known. They're humility, kindness, patience, diligence, charity, temperance, and chastity. Each one corresponds to a specific sin. In the first shot, we have 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮𝓮 and xiaofei. Both are given virtues. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓮 is diligence. This is the opposite of sloth. It represents earnest hard work motivated by genuine care for what they are doing. It's not giving up and achieving things for the better of others rather than expecting to get something out of it. It fits perfectly with his character. xiaofei is temperance. This is the opposite of gluttony. It's the ability to restrain yourself, to exercise moderation in every aspect of your life, taking only what you need and nothing more. This is interesting. First, does it really fit him? If anything, we've seen xiaofei might have issues with self-control. While I think most of his outbursts are justified, they don't exactly align with the virtue of temperance. Secondly, despite being associated with the villain characters in every other music video, he has a virtue rather than a sin. He's a grey area of a character. In Brighton arc, he's nothing but a friend to the boys. However, come the end of the season, he's unknowingly declared himself their enemy. Maybe this is a sign he's still redeemable. This next shot actually comes last, but it correlates with what I just said. We see Chris and this little, monster thing. It appears all throughout the video. They're paired with the sins sloth and gluttony, the opposite of the two virtues I just talked about. Gluttony is taking more than you need to excessive amounts, while sloth is laziness, not putting in any effort and being indifferent to everything. I don't think either of these qualities fit with Chris, but to be fair, they are attached to the little monster thing. Next we have Xiaoling and the twins. Xiaoling has the virtue kindness. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's being empathetic and compassionate, always willing to help others while expecting nothing in return. We see this from her a lot. She's great at being sympathetic, though maybe just not towards 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮𝓲𝓷𝓰 all the time. Kindness is the opposite of envy, the sin given to the twins. To be envious is to be angered by or resentful of someone else's abilities or possessions. You feel you are more deserving of what they have than they are. I think this does work for both twins. For 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮𝓼𝓽𝓮𝓼 and would be because of her disability and upbringing. I don't think it would be extreme enough to call it a sin, but I'm sure she'd be jealous of people who live a normal life. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻 is probably envious of similar things, but he takes it to a much more extreme degree, hurting people in an attempt to make things better for himself. Then we see 𝓘𝓚𝓮 and Vayne. Interestingly, they are both given sins. 𝓘𝓚𝓮 has wrath. This is an immense, uncontrollable rage, a strong desire for revenge, destruction, or simply to hurt for the sake of it. Initially, I thought this was too extreme for 𝓘𝓚, but maybe it's not. He definitely has a strong desire for revenge and an immense hatred for several people. He fully intended to kill Vayne, and I doubt that's the only person he'd willingly hurt if it means saving 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻. Unlike the other sins in this video, there are no characters associated with the corresponding virtues. For wrath, it's patience. No matter how hard things may be, you can withstand it without feeling anger. It's the ability to easily forgive others. Vayne is given pride. This is self-love to the highest degree. Not only do you believe you're better than others, but you have a disregard for authority and God. It results in a belief you can do whatever you want, whenever, and are immune to consequences. You feel like you can do no wrong and others should bow to you for it. We definitely see this with Vayne. Between his whole gang thing and his insane demeanor, he clearly regards himself as a powerful person and will do anything to make that a reality. In another scene, Chris is given the opposing virtue, humility. Being realistic and modest, especially in relation to self-image. It's a willingness to uplift others while acknowledging your own weaknesses. We still don't know a whole lot about Chris's character, but it's nice to hear she's a good person, despite all she's been through. Pride and humility are considered the ultimate sin and virtue respectively. Pride is seen as the root of all evil. People only do bad things to benefit themselves, while humility is the holiest virtue. Everyone is made equal and you cannot selflessly help others without realizing that first. In terms of link click, maybe it's a way of saying Vayne is the only character that's completely irredeemable. Like I said, Xiao Fei is a grey area. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻 is a product of his environment, and Liu Xiao seems to have a strong motivation too. We don't know much about him, but Vayne just seems to be crazy for the sake of being crazy. Finally, we have Liu Xiao and Jae Lee. I laughed so hard when I first saw this. Liu Xiao is lust, while Jae Lee is chastity. Lust is a sin that involves an insatiable desire for pleasure. Obviously, it can be sexual in nature, but more broadly, it can be the objectification of people and the desire to use them how you see fit. The belief you're worthy of attention and forcing people into submission. I do not want to know about Liu Xiao's private life, but it aligns with this cult leader imagery we've seen him depicted in. He draws people in and uses them for his dirty work. The opposite of lust is the virtue chastity. Again, it refers to being modest sexually, but it's also representative of restraint and purity in all aspects of life, to maintain a clear mind, to not be tempted. It's also choosing to be respectful of others and following through with commitments. This is a surprisingly positive sign. We don't know a lot about Jae Lee, but from the trailers he's appeared in, he seems to be associated with the villains. However, those bits about maintaining a pure mind and honouring commitments opens the door for him to be a double agent of some kind, which I think would be really interesting. The visual position of each character is also interesting. Our good guy line, Chung Xiaoshi, Xiao Ling, and Lu Guang are placed on the left side of the screen. Jae Lee is also on the left, which again gives hope to his character being a good person. Then, naturally, the villain line, including Xiao Fei, is on the right, which brings his character into doubt again, despite being paired with a virtue. And that's all I have to say, which turned out to be a lot more than I thought. It looks like we will only have to wait until August at the latest for Season 3. I cannot wait to suffer once again. Thank you for your time.